Hey, Ostomer, welcome. No worries, I understand. For my overseas viewers, it's a hard time to be here. I do appreciate you stopping in, though, and as always, thank you for your support and watching the videos afterward. It's always much appreciated. Well, I certainly hope to see you there. Have a good evening. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 1 of our Avowed Ranger gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, Avowed, um, a much anticipated RPG put out by Obsidian Entertainment. Now, people have um, been looking forward to this for quite a while now, and part of that is obviously due, um, in part due to Obsidian's past history with RPGs. If you're not familiar, um, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, they did that. They did Neverwinter Nights 2, and both of those were actually sequels that they took over after BioWare did the original ones. Um, they did Fallout New Vegas as well. So they've had a a series of well publicized successes for this, but they also have done their own IP work. And specifically, I mean Pillars of Eternity. Pillars of Eternity is a role playing game that was put out in 2015. It was crowdsourced, um, and it was what many considered to be one of the first RPGs that influenced things like Baldur's Gate, the original game, and Icewind Dale, and that sort of stuff. It was also one of the first ones to be successfully crowdfunded on Kickstarter. And so they've had an RPG background to their games, and things were getting a little murky, I guess, later on. And that's because Microsoft acquired Obsidian back in 2018, I believe. It might have been early 2019. Microsoft acquired them, and they became part of Microsoft Studios. Now, that has led it because people distrust Microsoft in a lot of things. So that led to some trepidation, but all still anticipation about this game. And the reviews have reflected that. Now, the reviews, I don't normally put a whole lot of stock in reviews. Reviews on any site are mercurial at best. The overall gaming community can fall in love with something, and then the overall gaming community can be toxic as all get out with something else for no other good reason other than just somebody's piling on it, so I'm going to pile on it. type of thing. So I don't put a lot of stock in reviews, but the reviews for Avowed so far are still overwhelmingly positive. So it's gotten a decent reception amongst the players who have tried it. The game released officially here in the US starting at 10 p.m. on the West Coast, 2 p.m. on the East Coast yesterday. If you wanted to pay the extra $20 for the game, you could have gotten a week early access to the game and have been playing it for a week. That wasn't something I was going to do. I normally don't pay for those privileges to play the game early. So there have been a lot of content creators that have put out videos and covered some of the gameplay, and we're now going to follow that up with just the regular version of the game released on the regular time and see what we think of it. And I'll be going through the character creation here at the start, and then we will definitely get into some gameplay through the prologue and then into the open world aspect of it. So let's go ahead here and start a new game. Now, before you do anything, I always recommend that you go through the settings of any game. This game, more than any other game for me, needs to have... I have an NVIDIA graphics card. I have a 3080 Ti. So the settings on this is running pretty well maxed out. I uncapped the frame rate just to see, how well it would work. But I still need to run VSync with this pretty badly. I get a lot of screen tearing if I don't turn VSync on. And this game, much more than any other game that I own and play with my NVIDIA graphics card, is susceptible to that. So I know I normally don't like to play with VSync on, but this is one game where I absolutely have to have it. As far as the other settings, there are some gameplay settings in there. This game was designed around controller, so there are aspects of the gameplay settings that make it quite a bit easier to work with on controller. I am using mouse and keyboard here for this, so I have customized some of my key setups and things like that. But there's also things in here about how much the screen flinches when you get hit or when you make a hit and stuff like that, which you can certainly customize to your own tastes to either maximize the realism of the game or make it easier to play but break some of that immersive quality of it. So always spend some time going through the settings, but we're going to go ahead and jump in and start a new game and look at the character creation.
Ilora, a world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel, in a cycle of reincarnation, watched over by the gods. Our gods, some of whom love us more than others. Your home, the Adiran Empire, is treasured by Wodica, Our Lady of Law and Vengeance, the Burned Queen. But our goddess has lately turned her eyes from us, and our empire has suffered revolts, famines, challenges to rightful rule. We lack a common purpose, but we could find it in the living lands, a rich and lawless island settled by fugitives, wanderers, exiles, and us. Yet the more we free this place from danger, the more the land fights back. And now, as our colonists crowd into Paradise, the last safe city, the locals find themselves crowded out. Many years ago, you were born to a family in our Adiran Empire, and in a rare turn of the wheel, you came into this world, a godlike, touched by a patron god in the womb. To some, a blessing. To many, an abomination. You grew up an outsider, but I saw potential in you. Potential and an opportunity. And within my court, You found purpose. Now I call upon your vow to our empire and name you my envoy. Venture forth in the name of your homeland and secure our future.
Okay, so that intro is really just to give us the backstory of our character and what our character is all about. Now, character creation starts off with presets. You do not have to start, or you don't have to keep any of these presets. This just gives you a baseline to start from, and then you can certainly customize everything about that character once you get into the rest of it. And that's by following along up here through the various items. So body type, female or male, elven, female or male. This is a mismatch between human and elven kingdoms that have since kind of formed together into an alliance. We're going to play as a human here, but you can obviously adjust your skin tone and all of that sort of stuff. So your head and hair now again are based around presets. You can start with any of these just to again get the overall generic look of your character, but then move into more specific. So godlike features, you have to have one. Now, it doesn't matter if you display it or not. You can turn them off. However, the NPCs still know that you're godlike. This is purely an aesthetic thing. You have to pick one. Doesn't really matter which one that you pick, but you can choose whether you want to display it or not, but the NPCs are always going to react to you as a godlike. So you have hair features as well that you can add in or customize. So for us, again, doesn't really matter. We're not going to display any of those. Hair, we can pick our hairstyle, and then don't forget that you can scroll down and pick your colors. So starting with the hairstyles, there's a lot of them, but don't forget that you can scroll all the way down and pick more colors and kind of accentuate those in whatever way you would like. Okay, so just something like that. I don't normally play around very much with these things. Facial hair, you can do the same thing, altering all the coloring. And then we get into the facial features, and this is where I say it was just a bunch of presets at the start. You have complete control, and most of these are things that you would see in all modern games. So you have access to all of the normal choices that you would see for games like this. So I'm just going to pick couple of things here. Doesn't really matter. And again, you can separate your eye color to be dichromatic, so left or right. Going through brows, or yeah, your brows, your nose, face shape. None of this I really care about. All of these are standard things that you would see in any modern video game. So your complexion, obviously, whether you have different colors here and that sort of stuff. Lips, facial scars, eyeliner, makeup. There's quite a selection of things that you can get here. Again, I normally don't worry about it and just default to what I have. And now you get to your first real choice that is impacting the gameplay, and that is your background. Now the backgrounds here do two real things. The first is that they influence some dialogue choices. There are certain dialogue choices that, when they pop up, will automatically give you an option to select a choice based upon whatever background you decided to go with. Now, those choices don't impact the overall game in a way that is meaningful. Meaning, if you choose Arcane Scholar, you're not going to be left out of portions of the game that you would get as a Noble Scion or something like that. But they do impact the availability of dialogue choices. The other thing that they do is they set starting stats. Now, we're going to get to stats here in a second. What these do is they give you a certain stat distribution off the bat. Now, you can modify all of those stats after you've selected a background. So, in reality, it doesn't really affect your stat choices. You're able to customize those stat choices to be whatever you want them to be. But it does set a beginning set of stats for you. The last and most impactful thing is it actually gives you a starting weapon based upon your background. Now, this is the weapon that you get at the very, very start of the prologue. You are going to find other weapons throughout the prologue to change out of, and then you will find more weapons as we get into the main storyline. So having a starting weapon of a particular type doesn't impact the game except for the first 10 minutes or so. After that, you're going to be finding more weapons. But if you're interested, the Arcane Scholar, you start with a dagger. The Court Augur, you start with a mace. The Noble Scion, you start with a sword. The Vanguard Scout, you start with an axe. And a War Hero, you start with a spear. Each of those have different stamina costs and blocking costs and damage mitigation while you're blocking. They also have their own attack speeds and their own damage ratings. But again, it's not something that I think you need to focus on. Pick whatever background you feel suits you from a lore perspective. Don't worry about the weapon it comes with or the dialogue choices. For me, I'm going to be playing as a ranger, so I'm going to be starting with the Vanguard Scout. You can see the kind of lore behind it and that sort of stuff, but again, this doesn't really impact a whole lot outside the first 10 minutes of the game. And here you have the attribute points, and now you can see that there's a stat distribution in here that's already been put in. So if I pick Arcane Scholar, you can see I have more might, more dexterity, and more intellect. Nothing in Constitution or Resolve. But if I go back to Vanguard Scout, you can see that I have more perception, I have some might, more Constitution, less intellect and Resolve. So it just sets a baseline stat point. But it doesn't really matter, because I could take intellect down to 0 and redistribute that stat point somewhere else. Okay, if I would like. Now, you're not able to get any more than 3 stat points in any single attribute when you start your character. You will be able to level those up much more as we go along, but at the start of character creation, you're maxed at level 3. So for me, Constitution, I'm going to start out with, and Dexterity for my attack speed. The maximum range and the critical hit chance are two things that are going to kind of work in odds with each other in the build I'm planning, but kind of also work together. The maximum range is not just for ranged weapons, it's also for melee weapons. So Perception, I'm going to bump that up to the highest. I'm not going to be casting a lot of spells, so that doesn't matter. As far as Stamina and Second Wind goes, Second Wind is when you take damage that would be fatal, you don't die. You go into a downed state, very similar to something that you would see in Dungeons & Dragons tabletop. The 12% bonus means that you have a 12% better chance of getting up from that down state on your own. and being able to continue the fight. So resolve is something I will be putting points into, as well as might, but I think this starting baseline point distribution is good for what I want. But again, you are free to customize these points to be whatever you want, regardless of the background that you have chosen. Okay, so the game difficulty, I normally play my live streams on normal, just because I'm not looking to see a whole lot of reloading screens and replaying of stuff. I know a lot of you love to see my deaths in these games, but I normally play this way, at least on the first playthrough, and then I up that difficulty later on. So the voice, you have 2 female voices, one a slightly deeper, one higher, and then you have 2 masculine voices at the end, and you can customize which one you want. You can pick an identifier, he, she, or they. And then this is really some more of those cosmetic things. Do you want to display the godlike hair features? I am not going to, so that's why they're turned off right now. And the godlike facial features, I'll leave those on. Doesn't really matter that much. And last is your name. Okay, so other than that, we are ready to go. You can toggle your armor to see what your various clothing is like as we get more through this, but for right now, we only have what we're wearing underneath and our armor. So let's go ahead and confirm and jump in here.
What do you know of the living lands? The rumors and tales are so vexing, they cannot be true, and yet they are. Those untamed wilds, overgrown with the most curious wonders, and the most dreadful abominations. There beats a dark pulse within the heart of that soil. Something vile stirs beneath the earth, seething with rot and decay. A corruption growing beyond everything it touches. Its foul tendrils reach towards us, to lash out at the Empire itself. I command you, go to the living lands, find the roots, and if necessary, sever them. You are my envoy. Remember your vow. The hopes of an empire rest upon you.
Okay, so an exciting cutscene there where you learned a little bit about the living lands. They are anathema to life forms, it looks like. And now we're washing up on the beach. Okay, and now we get control of our character here. We can disable the tutorials, but for the first thing here, I'll kind of walk us through. I'm obviously, as I said, on mouse and keyboard, so all of this is going to be based around my chosen keys that I have set up. Now, out here in this starting area, the first thing that you can be aware of is we have a mini map up there. You can see that the icon, the blue icon, is a quest marker. However, there are other things in the mini-map, and the mini-map can be customized to display or not display some of these icons. It can also be you can also customize the game so that it highlights collectibles and that sort of stuff, and makes it easier to find them. So these are all things that, again, break that immersion, but can be much more useful in your gameplay. You also have access to a map. Now, the map works on a fog of war basis, and so it's got a generic picture outline, and then as you move, it will open up more of the minimap. Now, what the minimap does not have is something like what Baldur's Gate 3 has, where it shows you where the limits of where you're able to walk are, or the traversable aspects. You will not find that in this game. So you have to just go find where the edges of the map are by moving around and seeing what you bump up against. Now this brings us into swimming. You can swim in this game. And there's no harm in swimming. You can either point down and move forward, which will put you underwater, or you can hit your crouch button, and that will also take you underwater. You can see you have a limited breath gauge, but then you use your jump key to come back up. Okay, now you can go through and explore everywhere underwater. You're going to see that we have a few bodies around here and that sort of stuff, but here in the starter area, there's nothing hidden here in the water. There's nothing for you to look at. So we're going to go up and we're going to talk to Garrick here.
You're alive. Thank the gods I pulled you out the wreck when I did. I wasn't about to let the Emperor's envoy die on my watch.
And here is your first introduction to stat-based dialogue options. Now this is analogous to things that you might see in other role-playing games, where instead of having to make a roll to see if you pass a check to open up certain dialogue options, here the dialogue options are opened up if you have a high enough stat distribution to be able to open them. If you don't, you still see the dialogue option. It will just tell you that you have 1 of 2 or 0 of 2 or something like that, letting you know you're a little bit short of being able to make that dialogue check. In this one, it's just all a flat number based on it.
At least the journey's not completely lost. I heard the cannons. I couldn't... The name's Garrick, ma'am. Quarter gunner, 3rd Adheran Fleet. We spoke on the voyage. Never thought we'd end up like this. I've been here before. We've got an outpost on this island, but...
And this is what I mean. There's an intellect dialogue option. We just don't know what that choice is because we don't have a high enough intellect.
I saw flashes, Envoy. It weren't the storm that wrecked our ship. It was cannon fire, and it could only have come from that fort up the hill. It makes no sense. No one fires on their own countrymen, unless...
And here's a dialogue based upon my background that I selected. Now, if you've selected a different background, you're more than likely going to have your background listed here, and you'll have a slightly different dialogue, but it all does the same thing.
That's what I'm afraid of too. In the meantime, you survived. That means we're not scuppered yet. As long as you're here, the Emperor's mission can still go ahead. Then I know the place to start. Adir's got an embassy in the port of Paradis. Once we make it there, we can regroup, figure out what to do next. I hate to say it, but the fort's probably our only chance of escape. We need supplies, and if our troops have been captured, they'll need our help. Thank you. I'll keep you safe. Those boards up there look old. A good hit and we can be on our way. Take that axe. It's no good to
and
any of
it's
our crew anymore.
prompting us to take an axe here. And this is the starting weapon that I was talking about. This weapon here is going to be different based upon your background, but really don't worry about it. You're going to find more weapons really quickly, and a health potion. Now, health potions have a hotkey that you are able to utilize, and that hotkey is programmable inside of the settings. So for me, I'm now going to open our inventory, and this brings you to the inventory screen. So you can equip weapons in main and or offhands. You can equip clothing as well, and you can also hide or transmog the armor by pressing right click on your mouse. So all armor grants a damage reduction percentage, and that means that percentage of all incoming damage is taken away. Now there is also a flat damage reduction number, and that number differs based upon the type of armor, whether it be light, medium, heavy, etc. Clothing can provide an item bonus. It doesn't always, but it can. Now the other things are unique. Now you can find unique weapons, armor, and accessories. All accessories, though, are unique. Okay? You can equip up to 1 trinket or amulet and up to 2 rings at any given time, and you'll find those as you go through your game. There's also an upgrade system, which we'll get a little bit of a basic introduction to later on in the stream. So here you have access to all of the stuff in your inventory. We have a common axe, so I'm going to press left click to equip it. And we also have a secondary loadout. So for me, if I hit left alt, it's going to change to it. I don't have anything else to put in there right now. But if you had a bow, maybe you have a loadout that has your bow here, and then you can quickly swap to your melee loadout if somebody gets too close to you. Okay, so you can see your weapons and armor here. So I have gloves, boots, not giving me any bonuses. I have the common armor. I'm getting a 2% damage reduction and 2 flat damage reduced, so not a big number. You also have consumables, and there's food that you're going to pick up, as well as throwable items and things like that. And they'll all show up in this list. The last is quest items, and you're going to see those pile up in here as we continue to go through the game. Your journal is now active. The quests are going to be highlighted with the exclamation point once you've acquired it, but you haven't looked at it yet. Main quest stories are always going to be up here. Then you're going to have side quests and companion quests, as well as you will find bounties, and a little bit later, possibly even in this episode, we'll find our first treasure map. You're also going to be unlocking quests that are going to have a skull icon next to it. And that means that it's going to be higher than our current, quote, gear level. It just means it's going to be a little bit harder to take that stuff down, and they're going to cause a lot more damage and be more resistant to our attacks. And we'll get a little taste of that as well. So the tutorials, not going to go through any of these. And then you get the ability trees. Now the ability tree here, these are originally locked for all of them. Okay, but you always start with some abilities available to be used in all of them. So even as a ranger, I could use the fighter tree or the wizard tree. Okay, the requirements for unlocking them are over at the right. So as long as we meet the requirements, it does not matter whether we have picked a background or anything like that that takes us down another path. You can be a fighter wizard or a fighter ranger or a ranger wizard. You can be whatever you would like by combining these skills together. So you really have complete freedom, and you're not locked into any class, quote unquote, that you would normally see in other RPGs. You can mix and match skills however you want. You also are going to be able to reset these skills. There's a reset. It's going to cost you coin to be able to reset it. And you won't see that here in this playthrough, but it is something that I'm glad they've added. More choice, more customizability as you find more weapons, armor, and other gear that maybe some of these skills work better with is always a good thing to have. So for the most part, that takes us through everything except the recap of our character. These numbers here are going to be reflected based upon the armor that we're wearing, as well as our current loadouts for our damage and critical chance that we're going to be doing. So come back to this as you set your gear sets up and your character perks up to see how these things change. Okay, and you see we're level 1. We need another 88 XP to get to level 2.
You look like a dab hand with that.
So let's go ahead
I don't
and kind of
understand.
take a look around, and
Why
we're going to
would
head
they
over
fire
here
on us, their
first,
own
and you can
people?
see that this is now
Always
glowing
wondering.
and it has an
We've
icon
got
in
to
front
make
of it.
sure our troops are safe.
Now this is something that you can turn off in the settings to the game, but it certainly does help you find collectibles a lot easier. Okay, so I recommend leaving it on. You walk up next to it and you can either take the palm stone or you can hold your use key and eat it for a health regeneration. You can see at the bottom I have half of my health right now, so I'm going to hold this, and now you can see I gained some health and some essence. Essence is mana, so the more of it you have, the more spells you're going to be able to cast. The X's are lootable corpses. So you can walk up to it, and you don't have to click on it. You can just hover over it, and you'll see that there are 6 silver phoenix here. And then once you're done, that icon will disappear from your mini-map, and the glow will disappear as well. Now, some boxes and vases and crates are breakable, and you will get an icon to do that, and inside you will find, in this case, some copper skate. So we got some loot here. So again, there can be a lot of breaking of boxes here to find food, money, items such as keys, throwables, all sorts of stuff like that. Okay. The other thing that we have in this game is there is a mantling system. Now the mantling system is entirely automatic. When you walk up to something, you're not going to mantle on your own. So even when you're running, you don't mantle up stuff, but you can see right there, as soon as I hit the jump button next to it, I'm going to mantle up on top. Now if you jump and you land next to it, then you will mantle up as well, which means you can kind of extend your jump range here a little bit by jumping into the side of things and using the mantle to get you up onto the top of it. Okay, now there is fall damage in the game. You have to fall a decent ways to get fall damage to actually hurt you though. So Now, remember what he said? He said that hitting this is going to open it up. We have sprint. And the thing to realize is that sprinting does not use your stamina. You can sprint all day long in this game. Now, swinging your weapon, you can see a stamina bar pops up. Okay, but sprinting does not cause that bar to pop up. So feel free to run everywhere you would like. I'm going to pick up another health potion
I
here.
suppose they were using that either.
And I think that's it out here. Okay, now it did mention something about dodge, and that is if you are pressing a direction, okay, and you're pressing sideways or back, you will dodge and use some of your stamina. If you're going forward, you can't dodge forward. Okay, so if you're going forward, you will jump. If you're moving sideways, you'll dodge instead. Very useful thing to have when you're dealing with attacks. The other thing is if you don't have a shield in your offhand, if you press the offhand button, you're now in block mode with your melee weapon. Every one of those weapons has a stamina cost for blocking and how much damage reduction that blocking gets you. So things like blocking with a dagger might not absorb all the damage from an attack, but blocking with a greatsword might. Blocking with a shield does absorb all the damage from the attack. It just costs more stamina to do so. And we won't get a shield for a little bit, but we are certainly going to see one. So we're going to kind of head up here and we're going to explore this mantling system a little bit as well, because we do have another area here and we can make this jump. It looks quite a ways, but you can actually jump quite a ways in this game. Okay, and that's what I meant about kind of jumping into the side of something and being able to mantle up. And you can go up until the world border pushes you down. Okay, so we're not able to get up there. But just to illustrate that you can jump quite a ways in this game. Okay, and from here, if we jump down, even that distance is not enough to cause fall damage. You will encounter it though. Trust me, you'll encounter it. Okay, and then you get access to the crouch tutorial, and that is by holding your crouch button. Now you can either hold it or you can toggle it like I have. The crouch is also what you need to do to hide. So it's probably quite a bit better if you use this in a toggle mode, so that then you can be hidden and you can walk around while you're in hiding. Because certain amounts of long grass, nothing here, this is too short, but there is grass that we're going to encounter that will put you into a hidden mode, and you'll kind of see what that means. Now again, not having any world border here or where the path ends, you can jump off of this if you like. It will kill you, but death just recycles you back to the last save that you had. But there isn't anything out there, even though it kind of looks like it. There's no way out there, nothing you can get out there in that location. Okay, now we do have some things here underwater. And then, as with all RPGs, always check behind waterfalls. Just always do it. If you've never played an RPG before, something you always need to do. I always check around the ledges, make sure there's no ledges down below me or anything like that.
No! The fort's lit their distress beacon. We've got to hurry.
Okay. And then looking at our compass, Garrick's moved up, but you can now see our first set of enemies. And they are the red icons. There's also a purple arrow It'll let you know where they are in relation to you from a height perspective. They are below us, and you can see we have 2 Xaurips. Now, the information, one is a health bar. The bottom bar is their essence bar, just like us. To the left is a basic level number. That number is going to indicate how difficult the enemy is, and then below it you see 3 black dots right now. If this is an enemy that is much higher level than us, even though they may be level 1, they might be higher geared than us, and then you'll start to see those skull icons down below it. 1 to 3 indicating how much more difficult that enemy might be for us to fight. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is kind of try and illustrate something. The chances of me getting this to work are really low here, but I'm going to try and get it to work. We'll see what happens. I'm going to wait for him to turn around. I'm going to drop down here and see if this Xaurup spots me or not.
Xaurip shouldn't be here. Haven't the troops been
Okay,
doing
so I'm
the job?
behind him, and there's a special attack icon. Okay, now you saw that special attack icon. You're going to see it again. If you manage to sneak up on somebody, you will get what's called the God Talon. It's a special attack that does really high amounts of damage. It's normally on the order of 3 times, so it's more than a double damage for a crit that you can do. You have to be hidden, and you have to sneak up on somebody to be able to get that icon to perform the attack. It's not something you can just trigger at will whenever you want. Okay, so here, looking around, we have a waterfall up there. We can't get up there. We do have another area up there, which we can't get to from down here. It looks like you might be able to get pretty close by jumping up here, but you can't. You can't get up there. We will have access to it a little bit later, though.
Come on, the fort's up ahead. Tripwire.
Okay, and then you get your first introduction to traps. Now, traps, if you move up to either end, you can disarm it.
Good hands.
There's no check to see if you can disarm it or not. It's just if you go to disarm it,
How many of
you
these
will.
damn things
You'll
are
get
there?
XP for disarming it. Okay, so nothing else in here, it looks like. And here we might have a couple of different choices here on where we can go. So we do have a waterfall down here. So as we always do,
Those should rally us.
check behind waterfalls, nothing there. He mentioned the spring bears, which are here. Then we can head here. Now the main path wants us to go here, but we do have another area here. And again, making use of that mantle effect. Okay, and now we see the waterfall, and always check behind waterfalls. Okay, so you get a note up here, and we get our first other weapon, and that is a dagger. And up there in the corner, you'll learn about the dagger. They have a high attack speed, they have a high crit chance, they deal lower damage and stun. They also have a very low block efficiency, so when you're blocking with the weapon, if you get hit, it's going to take more stamina away. So if we go to our inventory here, you cannot dual wield yes, you can, sorry. You can dual wield weapons if you'd like. So Once you run out of stamina, you're going to be exhausted. You cannot attack or dodge until it completely recharges. Okay. So now heading here. Okay, you see that boulder down there. Okay, so we can jump all the way to here. And then we missed that jump. But again, since sprinting costs us nothing, okay, and there's the mantle. I pressed forward as I was falling off of it and made it. Ah, and I just about made it up there. I got a little bit stuck. But that's how you're going to get over there. We'll try one more time, but I'm not going to waste my time up there just trying to jump across there because there's nothing really over there. Whoops, I missed the jaw. I missed the sprint. Okay, so there's nothing over there that you're going to pick up. It's just a little cave area, but there's nothing in it. So there's no real reason to go over there. Okay, to move up ladders, you just walk up to it, and as soon as you walk up to it, you're going to grab it and press forward to move up. Okay, now we do have another area up here. It obviously wants us to go through there. But once you get into a new area, always look around and see if there are other pathways for you to be able to go to. Okay. So this is above the waterfall where we just were, so nothing over here. And then we get to a point of no return when we hop off of this.
It's a bloodbath. They've torn the place apart from the inside. Did they? Were they fighting each other? Envoy, I don't like this.
Okay, so there are some notes here about some of the things that were happening here. And again, having the highlighted items on is good, just so you can highlight and see where some of these breakable items are, where some of the collectibles are, because there's a lot of stuff in here, and 99% of the stuff you cannot interact with in any way. Striking these things doesn't do anything to them. They just don't do anything. So if you don't see an icon that highlights, don't bother interacting with it. Okay, so nothing on the door. Here on this side, we have a door that says unlocked with a storage key, so we need to be on the lookout for that. Some copper. Some food. That's a lot of health regeneration. I have 110 hit points right now, so that roasted chicken would completely heal me, so I'm just going to pick it up right now.
Somebody got dragged somewhere. Must be a secret room.
And here's the interaction. So again, having that icon when you get close or hover over somebody can help reveal secrets.
Who goes there?
Look out! God, is this what they were like?
Okay, so you can see he's been infected by the living
understand.
lands. He's got those mushrooms and that sort of stuff. Okay, so again, just looking around. Now, Kith meat has an additional effect. So, plus 20 damage to Kith enemies, and we're going to be seeing those. And then a chest. Now, the chests are color-coded. So, you have different colors for the different rarities of the items that are in it. The gold chests are the ones that have the unique and or legendary items in them. So this has got normal items, some band braces. And you can go in and you can compare those to your cork gloves. So these give me plus 15% stun. No reason not to use them. Okay, you learn a little bit about who's being held here, and the different people that they've, or what their transgressions were. But other than that, that's it here in the secret room. It gives you your first little taste of combat against an enemy who's really almost dead.
I remember some of the soldiers praying around that Adra pillar. Hope it helped their souls find the beyond.
We rise from slumber. Is it you?
Okay, so we have some interaction with the Ardra here. And Pillars of Eternity. Again, reference back to the original IP for this, and kind of tying all of those things back together. Okay, so now looking around, we have another room in there, and there's what looks like another chest back there. Go in this room, some stew. Nothing else, but there is a breakable wall.
These used to be nice quarters.
Okay, and this is Steadman's log. Now, Steadman was the officer in charge of this place. He doesn't really like being here. Shock, shock, surprise, surprise. He doesn't like being here, but it is what it is. Okay, so we know that to get into this room, we need that key to get through that door, so we're still on the lookout for it. And here we get a shield. Okay, so there's the shield. And this guard, you can see, has the orange glow. That means you're going to get a unique or a quest item out of it. And that's the storage key. So let's go into our map here, or into our inventory here, and we're going to equip the round shield. So now when you block, you don't block with your weapon, you block with the shield. And let's head back over here to unlock this door. Okay, so a bigger chest means there are either higher value or more items in the chest. So the size of the chest is going to indicate how much or overall value. The color indicates the rarity or the quality of it. So this is a breastplate. So if we swap to armor, you can see, and this is nice when you hovered over it, it gives you a comparison straight up over there on the side. We're going to be lowering our stamina when we wear the breastplate, but it's going to give us much more damage reduction. We're only getting 2% here, we're getting 18% here, and we're getting damage reduction from 2 to 3. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. And we are now done in here. Nope, there's a healing potion. And some copper here. Doesn't look like anything up there. Okay, so they've started to go mad, and again, the living lands, the mushrooms, they've
Roots?
infected them here.
Why is she talking about roots?
Going out here, nothing to see. Nothing out here either. And now here we're going to get our first introduction to mass combat. Once we drop down here, we're going to get an ambush. And I'm going to try and maneuver myself here as much as I can in hiding. Because now you can see they're coming out. And he's seen me.
It's put its guard up. Hit it with everything you've got.
Okay, now to break their guard, you do a heavy attack, and that will break their guard. Okay, and now you saw a series of attacks there, and you can watch that bottom bar. That's the stun bar. When the stun bar fills up, that yellow bar at the bottom, when the stun bar fills up, you will execute a series of critical attacks. And you can do that either ranged, or you can do it in melee. And you saw the bar fill up, and then you saw that last one was a crit. It was a yellow damage number.
I thought I had your back. Guess you've got mine.
Okay, but the first combat here is not normally very difficult. So we'll go around, follow our mini-map, and look for the lootable things. There's some eggplant here. Looks like I forgot. Don't think there's any mantle points. Well, maybe I can get up here. No. So I missed, looks like some ingredients up there, but oh well. Or here, let's check in the side areas before we go where it wants to lead us. Okay, it looks like nothing else up here. Let's head through the door.
Surely there's a way to clear those brambles.
Okay. There's a health potion here. And we need fire. That's what that icon is. We need fire to be able to burn these brambles. So how are we going to do that? Well, there is a way to get fire spells in this game. We don't have a grimoire yet, which is what we need to be able to cast those spells. Even if you've chosen the wizard route right now, you won't have access to those spells yet. Not until you find a grimoire, which we will find here in a little bit. There's also another way to clear these out, though. So I'm going to head...
Is someone there? Over here! Help! I'm locked in!
Okay, there is somebody here. So Ilora
Oh gods! What's the matter with your face?
is in here. We are going to talk to her here in a second, but not right now. We're going to go looking around a little bit first. Okay. We need a Northreach jail key here to unlock this. This door is barred from the other side, but we do have another way we can go here. Okay, so some more copper and another health potion. Some more food. All stuff that you want to pick up. And up here you have an essence potion. So just like your health, you can refill your essence bar, which is that bottom purple bar, which is your mana, basically, by drinking a potion as well. Now up here you get access to a bow. And this is really where you want to swap your loadout and change over to a bow. So now I have a melee loadout and I have a ranged loadout. And if you look over on the left at the quest marker, this
There's an
bramble
idea.
here
We could shoot
is
the
called
down.
Fury.
How's your aim? Nice work.
Hit it, it drops down, and it causes a flame on the ground below it. Okay, now here, I don't think... Like, I'll try and drop onto the desk, but I think we take fall damage here no matter what. Nope, if you drop on the desk, you don't take fall damage. If you drop onto the ground, you will take fall damage from up there. And we have an interrogation log where you find out about Ilora. You find out that she's really a smuggler. She's one of the Paradisian rebels. So you kind of find out a little bit about what she's doing here. And here's the bar that you, or the door you can unbar. And the key.
You're not gonna let her out, are you?
Last is a big blue chest here. Okay, now you can see multiple items in it. Big chest, going to be multiple items in it. And we'll look at all these things in our inventory, but for now there's nothing we pick up here that's more useful. Can't pick up the boots. Okay, so the first key is here. Crouch. Come into here and you get some gloves. So we can look and see this gives us a +1 crit hit chance as opposed to the +15% stun. I like the stun a little better here at the start. Now it's optional if you talk to Ilora or not. We're going to talk to her.
Stay back. I'm not catching whatever's on your head.
Easy. She's a godlike.
You mean a god gave you that face? Touched your soul and everything?
That's right.
Never seen one of your kind before. I always heard folks say you were blessed. Looks more like a curse to me.
Hey Dave, welcome to the stream. Sorry I didn't see that that pop over there, but yeah, welcome. Good to see you again. And hey Patrick, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for being here. What classes are in this game? It's a bit of a misnomer, but there are 3 quote-unquote classes. A fighter, a ranger, and a wizard. Now, I say it's a bit of a misnomer because all of the perks for the fighter skill tree are available to any one of those quote-unquote classes. All of the weapons are available to all of the quote-unquote classes. The classes are really more of a background choice or a lore choice, and things like that. You can customize your skill points based upon any of those things, and you can combine any of the perks to make a fighter wizard or a ranger wizard or whatever you would like to have. So there isn't really a set class in the true Dungeons and Dragons type of meaning for it, but there are selectable classes at the start. Okay, so we don't have enough might for this.
Oh, you think you're having a time of it? At least you're not in a cell.
That's the Imperial Envoy you're talking to. Show some respect.
The Imperial? Shite, I should have known you were Adherents too. Funny you survived while all your friends here went belly up.
Yeah, Patrick, it's a lot like that. It's very, very customizable and free and open rather than locking you into a particular set of skills. It also allows you to respec any of those skills or attribute points at any point through the cost of the coin in this game.
Roughing up, more like. Same as everybody they arrest. Adir's had their boot on Paradise since their first soldiers came.
'Cause the place is pure chaos.
Did you not think we liked it that way? I have to smuggle just to get anything past your damn checkpoints. I'm trying. Your friend's the one picking a fight with me.
Paradisans will knife you in the back over a dirty look.
At least we don't go mad and slaughter each other.
Okay, so we do have a perception option here.
The day I came, I noticed the guards talking gibberish. Then the killing started. They went wild. Stabbed their mates in their sleep.
Okay, and a Vanguard Scout. This is our background choice.
I told you, they weren't right. When the storm came, they fired the cannons. Their faces changed. That soldier in here tried to strangle me. I had to defend myself. He still did it.
I've got a bad feeling about this. It doesn't make sense. What if she murdered that soldier and she's just trying to cover it up?
Well, we did see one of the infected soldiers that we fought already, so she's probably not making it up.
At least one of you is listening. Look, we don't have to like each other, but we can all get out alive. I left my boat at the edge of the island. It should still be there. Doesn't look like I have a choice, eh? You let me out, and all three of us can go to Paradise.
Envoy, I've tangled with Paradisan smugglers before. She'd say just about anything to get out of that cell. Her story's full of holes. What if the boat's not there? What if she turns on us?
For fuck's sake, be reasonable. Don't listen to him.
Now, whether we unlock this door or not is going to affect what happens in the prologue later on. If we free her, then she is going to be on our side. If we don't free her, she's going to break out of this cage anyway, and we're going to have to deal with her while we're dealing with the boss at the end of this level. So it's worth your while to bring her along with you.
Gods, that's the sanest thing I've heard all day. Let's move.
If we live to regret this...
And that's because the boss at the end of this level is quite powerful, and things can go sideways very, very quickly with him. Now you saw that we are at 96 out of 100, so we're about to level up here. So let's get this next combat out of the way. And you can see that combat is out here. We have a couple of enemies that are on the far side. Now I have a bow. You can hold right click and zoom in, and it will show you the critical hit point. Now arrows do drop over distance. Okay? So if you're aiming, you're going to need to aim a little higher. And then as you draw, you can see that you get this icon or this color around it to indicate that you're at full power on your draw. You don't have to shoot an arrow when you're at full power, but if you do, it's going to have the best accuracy and the best damage.
Not bad.
And you can see there was a yellow icon that popped up there to indicate that he's throwing something at me. Okay. And if you hit those critical points, you're going to see that yellow damage icon pop up. Okay, so we leveled up, and it says press tab to apply our points, and we get our first ability. Now, every time you level up, you're going to get access to an ability, and these are the 3 that we have. And this is where I said, when I talked about Patrick's question earlier, that this is the fighter ability, a ranger ability, and a wizard ability. You can choose any one of these that you want. Okay? You are not limited. I could choose minor missiles right now, and I would be able to cast minor missiles from my hotbar. Okay? I'm not going to, because Tanglefoot for me is going to make this final fight that we get into with the boss extremely trivial. Okay, now what this does is going to unlock Tanglefoot rank 1, and basically it's a way to lock somebody down in place for 8 seconds. They can't move, they can't attack, they can't do any of that sort of stuff. They are just locked in place. So now here we have another option to look over this way. And if you jump off of there, you're going to take fall damage. So I'd suggest that you come off this way.
Don't massacre each other. They just don't. Something caused this.
And again, always check behind waterfalls, right? Because we got a chest down here that has some gold skellings in it and an iron chunk. The iron chunk is a crafting ingredient, and you'll see what that means once we get to a crafting bench or a party camp. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else out here. You will sometimes find food and that sort of stuff underwater. So taking a second to look around is always a good thing. So now we can't jump up here. It's too high. There's nothing else here. The way forward is over here. Jumping across.
Could take out a whole Deerwooden village with that kind of ordnance.
Okay, nothing in here. We can't get into this area, but nothing to look at anyway. Then we have this area here as well. Can't get in here. But again, looking at your mini map, you can see we're now in Fort Northreach here.
To think they turned on each other like dogs. I can't fathom.
They were bastards when they came here. All it took was time.
But adherents, we respect each other. We're raised to follow the rules.
What's the matter? Upset your kin are no better than anyone else.
Okay, here's the spring berries that we saw from down below, and our next weapon, common sword. So swords swing quickly, they deliver moderate output. They don't do nearly as much stun as the axe does. And if you're blocking with them, they have a very low efficiency, so you're going to get a high stamina cost when you're blocking with it. So I think I'm going to keep the axe for now. Okay, so our quest marker's leading us down here. And now we're going to get into the aspect of the game which I already demonstrated. But this is the stealth mechanic. Okay, so while crouching near an unaware enemy, you'll see that icon pop up and you get a Divine Thorn, which is a really high damage stealth attack. Okay.
Stay in the tall grass.
Now, as soon as you make that attack, you're going to drop out of stealth. So you're gonna stand up and you can be seen. So I'm going to wait. Here. Because you see I have two more up there and I have another one down there who's walking toward me. Okay, I'm gonna wait for him to go around. He's gonna turn and he's gonna head over there. And now that he's out of the way...
Strike blind. Did your god give you that power
Okay, so
too?
now I'm going to go back into
More
hiding.
coming. Stay down and don't get us killed.
And you can see the second one is over here. Okay, he's going to come investigate. Okay, now I'm going to change my loadout because they're going to be active. Ooh, nice shot. Okay, so Garrick's up here fighting. Ooh. Okay, so there we go. Let's go do some looting here. And you can see that we have more of those. Now, I can't reach those, but if you're going to do this the non-stealthy way, you can use these to ambush your enemies by dropping those on them from above. Okay, so we came in here. Nothing to search, though. What do we do with waterfalls? And you get the deerskin boots. Now, the boots give us a 10% dodge distance. Just a straight upgrade over the messenger boots. Yeah, the prologue here really delves into those RPG memes, like always searching behind waterfalls and all that sort of stuff. And then you see some of the enemies leave behind a glowing purple orb. That's an essence orb that when you pick it up will refill part of your essence. Now you can see down there in my hotbar, you see that there's a number 1. This is my quick bar. Okay. The quick bar, I can just point at an enemy and hit the number 1, and that will activate my Tangling Root ability. I can also hit my ability wheel, which brings up a radio. Now this pauses the game. It allows me to drink consumables. It allows me to bind an empty slot to like a healing potion or something like that, even though there already is a hotkey for healing potions, but it will also allow me to toggle my Tanglefoot ability from here. Okay, so you can either hit pause, give yourself a little break in the game here and still have access to your abilities, or you can just toggle them using the quick bar, which is just by hitting the number 1 key for me. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's anything behind this one. And here, if you are going to be delving into the wizard side of things, you get your first wand. Now, a
Shame it didn't have a
wand
healing spell.
is the wizard's melee weapon. Now, the wand, just like something out of Harry Potter, when you click with it, okay, it uses your stamina. It does a ranged homing projectile, that does very little damage, but you can attack pretty fast with it, but it uses a lot of stamina. And again, you have a heavy version of it where you hold it down and let go a faster projectile. This does not use essence. This is just the melee weapon of the wizards, if you're going to go that way. But again, anybody, I'm a ranger, and anybody can use it. Essence potion, Arak, which gives you essence regeneration. And here's your first grimoire.
Hope there's a fire spell in there to make quick work of the brambles.
Now, a grimoire you put in your offhand only. And now you can see that down there at the bottom, if I hold my right click, I can now activate a spell. Now, any of these 4 are going to cost me essence to use. Okay? But it allows me to get a fire spell, an ice spell, a lightning spell, or a shield spell. Here we need fire.
Mugren's Fury in a book.
Okay, and that's how the grimoire and wand work. Now, I'm not going to be going that way. Okay, now we have more enemies here. You can see them down below us.
We've got the high ground. How should we do this? Take him at range. Smart choice.
So, Garrick wants you to use your ranged weapon here, and we're going to. We're going to wait and go after this forager. He's going to come back around here. He's going to walk underneath here. Right there, we have another one of those bomb spores that we can drop on him. There are going to be 3 more. No, 2 more. Take that back. A guard here. And 2 more regular Xanthips, which are, like I say, one of them's going to come around here. The other one's hiding behind this pillar. There's the forager. He's going to come around here. When he walks under this, we'll drop this on him. Now, I take that back. There are 4 down here. There's a guard, and there's 2 more Xaurips behind back there. So you can see he almost saw me there. There's an alert system. You should be very familiar with those in modern video games, how they work when you're dealing with stealth mechanics. So there's the forager we want. There he goes. Okay, that's
You're
1
gonna
down.
regret this.
You have unlimited arrows. Jumped and avoided that. There we go. Okay, now we're going to get a bruiser that pops out.
More on the left.
Let's lock him in place. Make him easier for our friends down there to hit. Okay, now your other friends do have health bars. You can see them over there. And they will go down. And they will be knocked out of the fight eventually. So you have to kind of watch out for them as you go through things. I want to see if I can I've never looked at this before. Yep, so I can't grab it from up there. I was just checking to see. There's another essence potion, and now we can drop down. You can see the essence orbs that are laying around. And you can see how much they up our essence bar. Not a whole lot. Okay, again, checking waterfalls. Okay, the quest obviously wants us to go that way where Ilora is waiting for us, so let's go look around the other locations. Another essence potion and some copper.
Like these. Wonder what they are. Maybe nobody knows.
Paradisans call them godless. Some kind of people who came here long ago.
They're not.
Okay, and you get to your first real save point. This is definitely a point of no return. I normally tend to save before I go into those things. There is an auto-save feature that is time-based. You can set the frequency of that. I think it defaults to 5 minutes, so if you do die, you're only going to lose 5 minutes of gameplay at the most. But if you do want to drop a save, then you can. But if you fall into water, you avoid fall damage. And here is the final boss, quote-unquote, of the game. So we are definitely going to drop a save here. And there's a trick to this. The trick is knowing your terrain. There's an upper area up there. The only way to get to it is by jumping across from there up to there. The way you get up there is on the far side of him. Over there is some water and a staircase that goes up and leads up to there. So we're going to go in here. It's going to be a mandatory conversation. We can't skip it. But once that conversation ends, he's immediately going to be hostile towards us.
I tried to tell them. Why wouldn't they listen? You can't kill me. No one can kill me. I'll swim across the sea.
I knew it. Whatever's on their faces, it gets into their heads.
I'm no expert on soul plagues, but whatever you came here to find, I'd say you found it.
It's uncanny.
No, it isn't. You're a godlike. He's... well, look at him. He's sick.
Who disturbs us? I had dreams. Fabulous dreams. They tried to silence them.
Steady yourself, please. We're only trying to help.
You're wasting your breath. He's gone.
You tread in the orchard. They sent orders for fire. I should have been free to drink of the land. They thought they could stop me. Vipers! Their venom stains my blade.
He can barely string a thought together. How could he have killed everyone?
He couldn't. Not like this. He's just the last one standing.
Trespassers! Shackles. They would bind us. We only sustain ourselves. And you return death to us.
Envoy, this could come to blows. Keep your guard up.
Feed the roots. Kill the rot.
Okay, now I'm going to immediately back up. I'm going to hit my ability wheel just so you can pause and kind of see what this is. I'm going to root him in place. Okay? While he's rooted in place, I'm immediately going to run past him. And here's the stairwell that I was talking about. Immediately jump over here and crouch. Now, when he reaches down like that, he's going to throw something at you, and you want to move back from the edge. Or else you're going to get hit by a ranged attack. But see, his ground pound AoE attack is pointless against you. It doesn't do anything. And now you can see his stun bar was all the way up. So it released the crit. If I would have been aiming at his head, those all would have been crits.
Probably some noble who bought his commission. Now look at him.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but at least he's not suffering.
Okay, so it's a way to trivialize that fight, really. And make it really, really easy. So make sure you find the bow, make sure you pick it up, and you can basically skip that fight. Now, while we're up here, we're going to head over to the other side. Okay, there's a backpack here. Checking down here in the water, there's nothing down here. And we'll head over, pick up the soul sponge, and then you can see we have an orange icon here. So we're going to get a quest item here. So this is from Commander Vinterbrand to Steadman, basically saying that you're not really worthwhile as a commander. You need to get yourself in line. And then you have a common great hammer. Now the great hammer does really big damage and stun if you're blocking. It's a two-handed weapon, so you're blocking with it only. You can't use it with a shield. They swing very, very slow, and they have a very high stamina cost. So it really is if you're going the way of the fighter perks to help lower stamina cost, that sort of stuff, they can be a viable weapon. It's just not something that my build is going to be going for. And here, a sarcophagus. So this is your main loot chest after the boss. Okay, and that should be it.
Closer, we twine.
You can sheathe your weapons.
You have returned. We felt your presence like dew on a leaf. We wake. Heed us.
Envoy, you alright? Can you hear me? A voice? What did it say?
Now your envoy's losing it.
No, I think something in the address spoke to her. When you put it that way, maybe so. I've been round Ardra my whole life, and it never spoke to me.
I don't think it spoke to anyone. Not even godlikes.
That's some gift. Maybe they're... Never mind. We've got to get to Paradise.
The boat's just up ahead.
God.
Okay, so we're again, as always, going to do a little exploring here. As we go, just make sure we're not missing anything. The prologue's a little short on exploring other than the waterfalls. But there are still things that you can pick up. Don't think, yeah, that's world border.
Boat! There it is.
Yeah, we're gonna get into a mandatory conversation here.
Thank the gods it's still here. Get on.
There, in the distance. It's Paradise. So, the smuggler wasn't lying.
My name's Ilora, you know. Thanks. I've enjoyed not being dead.
Look, if this is the soul plague the Emperor sent you to find, we have to stop it. You have to stop it, no matter what it takes.
I'd heard rumors about folk changing out in the hinterlands. I thought they were just that. You know, stories. I never imagined it'd be like this.
I don't know how, but if anyone can find a way, it's you.
Will you get on before I leave without you?
Aye, onward to Paradise.
And that's going to officially end the prologue here. Now, the prologue's very linear. You're kind of led through it just to introduce you to the game.
Never thought
And
I'd be
here,
glad to sail here
we
with
are
a
now
smuggler.
If anyone
into
asks,
the
you never
main
met
city.
me.
And it's letting us know over there at the side that we have unspent attribute points. And that's because when I leveled up, I specifically did not pick an attribute point, I just picked an ability. But every time you level up, you're also going to gain an ability point that you can put somewhere. For me, I'm going to up my carrying capacity here. There is another conversation a bit farther along that will need a 2 in intellect. So I'm going to be saving up some of my XP, and when we get to level 3, my next point's going to go in intellect, even though I don't need it for my essence or anything like that. I'm going to get it just for a conversation option. So here, let's talk to Garrick.
Suppose this is where I leave you then. I owe you my life, envoy. I won't soon forget what you did. I don't know. It's all just sinking in. I hope the folks at the embassy know where to find a good, strong drink. Well, it's the Living Land's biggest port. People come from all over. Not all of them are Adir's friends.
Wonder why?
You'll be fine. After the fort, I figure you can survive anything. You don't have to. Just go up the pier. I imagine they've sent someone official-like to take you there.
Must be nice, eh?
Same to you. You'll make the Emperor proud. I'm sure of it.
Okay, and you can talk to Ilora.
Look, I'll no thank you for showing basic decency. But you saved my life. That counts for something. To me, anyway. Try to survive. Same thing I do every day. There are always crews looking for hands. I'll find more work somewhere. Not all of them. But it's not a great way to make friends. Give Paradisans a chance. That's why they came here in the first place. Try not to get killed. Nah, I'm kidding. Just don't go around acting like you own the place. Alright? Hope we don't run into each other. Still, take care of yourself.
And now neither Ilora or Garrick are part of our party anymore. And as such, we need to go replenish the ranks, so to speak, and we're going to do that right up here.
This is your final warning, Kai. One more. Hey! Turn around and sail back to wherever you came from. This dock is reserved for the Imperial Envoy. And she's late. Huh. Oh, you are?
Nice.
Forgive me, Envoy. I meant nothing by it. A slip of the tongue. Can we start over? Name's Cynric, captain of the local militia. We're a scrappy bunch, but we know our way around Paradise. Unlike most Adirans who couldn't find their ass with both their hands. Oh, present company excluded. They told me you were godlike, but I didn't know what to expect. Your face, it's so...
You're doing great.
Forgive me, again. We're having a bit of an emergency. No doubt you've come for the Adiran ambassador, but he's gone, along with our claviger. They traveled northwest to the Strangle Route, past the old Pargroon Wall.
You need to find the ambassador, and I need to find the claviger. How's about we partner up? I didn't survive my military days by being the slowest one in the squad.
Kai, before you go, the Envoy is no stranger to the wilderness, but you and I both know the living lands can be, unpredictable. Make sure she comes back alive, or the steel garrote will have my head.
Better yours than mine.
Now, if you noticed, some words in the dialogue are highlighted with a green if you have subtitles turned on. If you hit F on the keyboard here, or whatever you've done for your key mapping or controller, it'll bring up a replay of the entire conversation, which is really nice to have. I wish more games had a log like this where you could see all the choices that you made. But two, all of those green words, as they pop up, will have a lore associated with them. And you can read through some of these and gain more information about what you're getting into and what you've seen.
I admire your eagerness, Envoy. Just don't rush into danger too quickly, all right?
Right behind you. We've got to find your ambassador and my claviger before something else does.
And now we gained our first new companion, and this is Kai. Now, for those of you who are fans of video games, you should recognize Kai's voice. The first time I heard Kai speak, I was rather shocked because his voice is unique. There's nobody else that sounds like him. And that's because he is voiced by Brandon Keener. Brandon Keener, everyone knows from the Mass Effect series. He was Garrick Garrus Vakarian, I believe was his last name, in the Mass Effect series. One of the most fan favorite companions in the entire Mass Effect series. So hearing his voice again brings all of that back. Now, Brandon's been in a lot of very popular games. His voice was computerized, but he was also Isaac in the computer in the Division series. He was in XCOM 2, I think. I think his voice was the Advent voice in there. And he was Tobias in both Saints Row and Saints Row 2. So if you're a video game fan, you will instantly recognize his voice. It is very, very hard to miss it. So it's really, really cool to see him back in another voice acting role. Now, Kai's abilities, he has fire and ire. So he has a blunderbuss that he can shoot with. It deals high stun to a single enemy and taunts them so they only attack him for 10 seconds. He also has Firestarter ability, so he can now burn away webs, brambles, or other flammable objects.
I'll bet you're
And
glad to be
now,
on dry
if
land
we have
after
our
that
weapons
voyage.
out,
Come
now
on,
down at the
let's get you
bottom,
some fresh air.
you can see that there is a Kai option in our radio wheel. Okay, so we have two options here. The command for starting fires you don't need in your quick bar, because that's something that you selectively use not to burn people or enemies, but to burn items. However, fire and ire you do need in your ability wheel, and that's why it's also down here in your hotbar, because you can use this to have him shoot his blunderbuss at an enemy. Okay, so we're going to put our weapons away, and the first thing, now we're kind of in the open world aspect of this game. Things are no longer linear. We have a set of quests that we can track or not track in here, and that's going to tell us where that icon is, 435 meters up that way, but we don't have to follow that. The next thing that you see is that we have a new icon. We have this purple icon here, and that's because we've now unlocked a fast travel point. So in your map here, the fast travel point is here. At any point that you are anywhere else on this map, all you have to do is click it, and it's going to ask you if you want to fast travel to it. Okay, it's as easy as that. So you don't have to be in any specific location or anything like that to use them. You don't have to teleport between fast travel beacons. You just click on it and you go there, which is really nice. Now, I did not confirm my ability point choice. I noticed that during my conversation when I didn't have the might option. So make sure that you click confirm after you're done. And now we're going to take a look at a couple of things. So first,
Oh, what awful stench.
you do have areas like these boats that you can explore, that you can look around. Now, there's nothing on either one of these, but don't forget that even though something may look like it's roped off, you can see that there's other ways to go over here by jumping and getting around and heading over to there. But there is somewhere else that we want to go. Right over here, there's a ladder. You don't need to use this ladder. You can just jump
Grumman
off.
left these beacons all over the island.
But we'll use the
Good for
ladder.
finding your way around.
Head down underwater. And here we've got a hidden chest. Okay, this lets you know that you've got upgrade materials. We had found some iron chunks and upgrade materials before. Those are used, like it says, to upgrade your weapons and armor. We're not going to be dealing with them right this second. Okay. Now, throughout all of this area out here, if you look at the mini-map, there's a huge water area out here. There is nothing out here. I have spent literally hours in this game combing the underwater sections of this starter portion of the map. There is nothing here. So don't waste your time coming out here. However, we are going to go over this way. And again, if you are looking around down here, make sure that if you try and rise by holding jump, that you're not moving forward when you do. And you can kind of illustrate that. You can see how fast we move up if we're not pressing forward. If we're pressing forward, you see how much slower we move. So if you're running out of air, don't move forward. Press up to move up. Okay, now this area here, again, nothing that you can really see here. But you can see that there are some red icons here. That's because there are specters, or phantoms, in here. And it's a very easy fight from here. Okay. So no reason to get into it with them. Just use your bow. This is another way in and out of this area. Got a chest here with a primal wind. Okay, so if we look at our inventory, primal wind is an enchanting material. Okay, so we have upgrade materials and enchanting materials. And you'll learn more about that when you get to your party camp. And you can upgrade and enchant weapons there. Okay, might as well pick up the essence here. Another health potion. Now if you jump up here, you can see that you have access to this area through this sewer entrance. That's what this is. We have a door here. Actually, oh, I think I know where that is. It's right here. Gotta be crouched. Where was it? There it is. Okay. And then this area here, an explosive barrel is right there. That will unbar the door, so now you can open it. And we get our first yellow gold chest. And inside here we get the Wayfarer's boots. And some lockpicks. Okay, so the Wayfarer's boots give us 10% resistance to poison and bleed accumulation. And you slowly regenerate health while walking. Okay, this is a huge bonus. So while you're out exploring, you no longer have to use food or potions in between fights. You can disengage from the fight, run away, and get your health back while you're just walking. So a really, really good pair of boots that you don't want to miss can make your early game quite a bit easier. Okay, now as far as our map goes, we're going to head out this way. There's some more experience we can get out here, and there's a couple of encounters out here that we want to have. Because again, we're trying to get XP points right now. And again, nothing else out here. I've looked through all of this. So don't waste your time. We're going to head out here into this area over here. And you're going to see the first vendor icon pop up on the map. And that's right there. The fisherman is a vendor. We'll go look at that here in a little bit. But we want to get over into this location. Because you can see there's something on our mini-map. There's a throwable that we can actually pick up. Okay, so throwables are just what they say. There are grenades. There are some throwables that have fire, lightning, poison, or cold damage. And one of those we're going to be using here in a little bit. So you can now see that we have more icons that have popped up on our map. We have some water beetles here. I'm going to get some high ground here.
Nice!
And some enemies can climb rocks and some can't. So take advantage of your terrain if you get the opportunity to. But don't necessarily think that you're always safe either, because some enemies can climb rocks, and you need to be aware of which ones can and can't. Okay, now here you learn a little bit about quality. So you can see how some of these work. Enemies with a higher quality tier than you will display the skull. That's up here. This is their quality level. So common, fine, exceptional, superb, and legendary. So this is the fine level, number 2 level in it. So as you get to enemies, you will be able to know which ones are leveled above you, and maybe you need to come back to them and deal with them later. The little tiny chevrons are the upgrade level. Each tier has 3 upgrade levels. So here, the common quality, there are 2 chevrons, so it's 2 out of 3. That means you've upgraded it once already. Okay, so you can upgrade both the tier as well as the amount inside of that tier. And the upgrades are listed down here. So as you progress up and you upgrade more things, you'll unlock the ability to upgrade things to higher tiers. Okay, so we have another set of enemies over there. But I'm going to pick up a couple of these throwables here first. Okay, and now this one here, I want to see if I can get some high ground. Okay, and I'm going to be attacking from long range here and just waking them up and bringing them towards me. Kai's going to run in. That was too far away. Whoops.
One for you!
He's dead. so I'm gonna get in here now because Kai is almost dead. Okay. So if your companions go down, they go into second wind as well. They don't ever die. They just, you know, get brought back after a certain amount of time. Okay, so now we're at 251 out of 400. Okay, now there's another group of enemies right over on the other side of this island. However, there's a boss enemy over there. And all of those enemies are substantially higher tier than I am right now. It is possible to beat them, but it's not something that I'm going to do here. I'm going to come back and deal with them later. But I do want to go over here and unlock this new area. And then we're going to fast travel back to the other side, because there are some things we want to do over there. But again, underwater, you can go down a long ways down here. But there isn't anything out here yet. Once we get far enough out here, we're going to unlock a new area. And there are some things out here in the shipwrecks that we want to look at. Okay, so we have a new area
have come to a bad
over
end
here.
with those rocks.
Here are the enemies. There are some pirates or some brigands up here. There's a chest in the middle there. But one of those is a boss, and there are 3 other soldiers with him. And like I say, they all substantially outlevel you. So I'd probably hold off on that and come back a little bit later. And they can all climb rocks, so you can't get up on top of those rocks and be safe from them. They also have, the boss has a blunderbuss, like Kai does, so he will shoot at you from below, and it's really hard to avoid that attack. So it's best to skip that. Okay, so we did unlock Andra's Reach. So we're going to head back to our fast travel point. We're going to head to the west. Because we picked up some throwables, and we're going to use one of those throwables here in a second. Oh, I do have ability points for Kai. So, when he comes in, now there's something that's really important here for Kai early game. The Fire and Ice ability, upgrading it, is nice, gaining extra powder. However, Second Wind, when Kai's health is reduced to 0, he revives himself by restoring 50% of his maximum health. This means that you don't have to go revive him when he goes down. He basically has 150% hit points with this. This is an incredibly useful skill to have early on in the game. You can go respec these things later. But for now, Second Wind on him is incredibly useful. Okay, now up there. Again, mantling. Okay, Claviger's Landing is locked. You need the warehouse key. Okay, and we're going to be coming back and dealing with all of this a little bit later, because where I'm going is over here. We're going to unlock a new area, the Lighthouse. Okay, so a backpack here. There's another common grimoire of the elements. And here another throwable. Now you can see this is letting off frost, right? Oops, and I missed the ingredient here, or the food. You can see that there's a lootable body out there, but that jump is too far for me to make, right? However, what it is not too far for me is if I throw, that creates an ice surface because it's a frost bomb, and I can jump on that to make it over here. And keep that in mind, that when you've got water underneath you and you have the frost throwable, that you can create an ice surface to jump on. Primal Flame is another enchanting material, and a bunch of upgrade materials. Okay, we have cabbages out here, and actually I think there were more cabbages out there, but I don't need to waste any more going back out there to get them. I'm regenerating health as I walk. With the Wayfarer's boots, so eventually I will get it back. Okay, so we're going to make our way up here to the lighthouse. There is another item we want to pick up here, and this is the Paradisen ladder. Okay, that is an upgrade item for armor. And the worker's note here. I overhear a pair of men talking about a treasure map at the top of the lighthouse. Okay, so we want to get to the top of the lighthouse because we love treasure just as much as anybody else. There's a plaque here. So this lighthouse was built by order of the Claviger, and then a second note says, "Heard Fennec's voice in the stairwell. Damn the repairs. Stay away from this place." Okay, and down here, there is a backpack. And this thing can get a little bit iffy on collecting it. But if you crouch when you get down here, you can pick up the stuff in it. And here are the cabbages. And you learn that they were trying to sell cabbages and having really bad luck selling them. But it is free food for you. And somebody fell off the lighthouse, and that's how they ended up down there. Now again, fall damage no fall damage. You can go down here and search. I believe, yep, there's some more food down here. And let's go head up to the lighthouse again. Now, sometimes that little dot in the center can get a little hard to see. So it can be a little useful if you have your bow out here, because that arrow is always right in the middle and you get a much bigger crosshair, because you're going to be doing some parkour here. First, we want to look around back. And you get a really nice view of the harbor out here. Okay, but nothing else back here. Let's head up. Okay, and now you get into the parkour section here. So follow the pathway. And remember that your mantle
You'll be fine.
is going to work
Just
if you
don't look
jump
down.
into something sideways, into the side of it. Okay, you get here, you need to turn around and look. Now here you have your first real jump that you need to do. And again, jump into the side of that ledge so your mantle can pull you up. Okay, and in here, got a glowing orange item. And this is the first God Shrine Totem Fragment. Now, this is for the god Wedika, or Wodika, however you want to pronounce it. And there are several of these scattered around this continent. And the more of them you pick up, the more of them that you can drop off in a statue in your camp, and the more powerful the overall effects will become.
Looks like that broke off of something.
Okay, so
Wonder
the
where it
totems
goes.
are displayed at your totem shrine in the party camp, and like it says, you collect them, and you're going to get more powerful effects from them the more of them that you collect. And there is the treasure map. Okay, now all the treasure maps are going to look like this. So it's going to give you a location that you have to kind of orient yourself to, and then it's going to give a blown up location that tells you exactly where the treasure is once you get to that point. Now all of these treasure maps are going to be available in your journal,
That's
so you can come
upstream
back to them anytime you want. Okay, there's nothing else out here or anything like that, so no need to walk around. You can just head up. Actually, yeah, I forgot. Oh, let's forget this. There's some hunt's hair here for stamina or essence regeneration. And then you reach here to the top of the lighthouse. Okay, now there's nothing much in the way except for another gold chest for us. This gold chest has the Arcanus boots in it. And the Arcanus boots give you a 10% move speed bonus and increases your health restoration from all sources by 5%. And that means from food, from healing potions, from anything like that. Now, we're going to give up our health regeneration here if we do that. So we're going to keep our health regen on. You can see it slowly tick up, and it's a real slow process. But if you're just out exploring, then you'll see this slowly regenerate itself. And you can see it ticking up down there. Every time the white bar appears, you can see it going up. Okay, now we have one more thing that we can do here. And I'm not entirely sure why this is not a thing.
Well, nothing ventured, Envoy.
So Kai is even telling you this might be interesting. I figured there would be an achievement for this. This is the highest point in Paradise here, and I figured there would be an achievement for this. One did not proc for me in my personal playthrough. I'll jump off of here again. But you'll also see what happens when you fall from a height that you're going to take fall damage from. And there's Kai coming in as well. So yeah, I figured there would have been an achievement for that, but there wasn't one that I saw. Okay, so now we're going to head off farther north and west. You can see where we are on the map. We're going to make our way over to here, I think. So let's go do a little exploring over here. Okay, and from here, we're just going to jump in. Now again, nothing down here in any of this water, but there is something in the water over here. So I want to show you it so that you'll know, instead of searching this entire thing, you can just come to this particular spot and search there for it. You don't have to waste all your time like I did in my personal playthrough, going through every inch of this place. Now you see that we have our broken ship down here. But not just a broken ship, but there's the skull of what looks like a Leviathan or something here. And there's a chest and some Kraken horn here. Stayed down too long. It looks like there's another chest down here, but it's not. It's just a barrel or something that you can't break. The other half of the ship is over there. And there's nothing in that half. Okay, nothing in here to pick up. No ingredients or chests or anything like that. Okay, now we're going to go get our XP up a little bit so that we can get to level 3, and we're going to do that by having some fights over here. And this will be the last thing that, or how we finish out the stream today, is by exploring this area and getting into some fights. Underneath here is a note. Okay, Lucan obviously came on bad times here. And then inside here, Yeah, so nothing else in here. Now we're going to head up the stairs here. Okay, and now we're at the Fractured Shore. You can see we have more of the Xaurip enemies here, and we're going to get more enemies and more powerful enemies here as we progress through this. This area you can't get to from here. This is you jump off after you've gone up all the way over there.
Xaurips. They may be small, but they'll overwhelm you if you're not careful.
Okay, now there are only 2 that you can see, but there are more than that over here. There's a guard, and there's a forager. So I'm going to try and sneak up here.
Quiet as the depths.
Yep, the third one was looking at me. So I'm going to move back and I'm going to let them come to me now. By starting this off from long range. Okay, so it looks like he's turned around. So let's see if I can get the forager here.
Mind you not to spook you.
Perfect. Worked well. So stealth is a big thing here in your early levels. It's going to be a big thing throughout the game, from what I've seen so far. Much like Skyrim, your stealth archer attacks, starting off at least, are going to be a big help in getting you through some of the combat. Now, it's not as OP as the stealth archery is in Skyrim. You're not going to be able to be one-shotting everybody eventually like you can in Skyrim, but it will get you to a point where you could cause some good damage to enemies before they can get within range of you. Okay, multiple different ways you can go. There's the stairs that we came up. We went down there. So this pathway is going to lead us up here. And again, keep an eye on your mini-map as you go. For things that you can loot. Or secret ways that you can go and jump down onto. Like this. And then we're going to head back this way, and we're going to start getting into some more encounters over here on the north and west. So here at the west, we have another body that we can jump to. More crafting and enchanting ingredients. The mantle's actually pretty good in this game at saving you from a lot of those things. Now we can approach this area from a couple of different ways, if I remember right. I think we can get to this from this side. Yes, we can. Okay, so we can get across here.
Beautiful view from these cliffs. Real long way down, too.
Okay, we'll make our way over here, and we should be able to jump across over here. We do want to look for passageways down. Or new areas to explore. Okay, and this area is just another way up if you do manage to fall down. I don't think there's anything down here. It's been a while since I looked at this. No, nothing down here. I'll have to go back to my notes. There is one other area where there's a small collectible underwater. It's not a chest or anything. I'll have to go remember where it's at, but there's not a whole lot out here. Okay, and here's our next group of enemies. You can see them. Their heads kind of popping up over there. Hey, we want to stay hidden because I think there's 3 enemies here. Yeah, there are. I think there's 1 guard and 2 foragers here. So we want to do the same thing. We want to try and get close and get off a Talon, a sneak attack here. There's 4. Okay. How about we... upgrade a little bit, and I still want to try and get a sneak attack here. They're all facing me, though. Might be able to get the Elder. The Elder would be somebody that I really want to focus on anyway. He's a magic user. So he has ranged magic attacks. Let's see if I can get one of these foragers to turn around. That one there, and I'll try and sneak up on the Elder. Okay, well, we got them to turn away, but the guard decided to move up there right next to him. And you can see they have a single skull above them, so they're over leveled a little bit here. But we should be able to take them. Just need to be patient a little bit. Boy, I haven't seen the guard move up there before. That's an annoying spot for him to be in. If he doesn't move down, then I'll try and sneak around behind him. But it's going to be pretty hard to get over there. Okay, good. He's moving off. Good. Now we just need this forager to turn around. I think we can actually make it. We can. Okay, so we definitely want him to turn around. And now he's going to come jump up here too? Okay, thank you. I needed that. I'm going to swap out to my axe and I'm going to jump up there.
Right behind you.
Another one down.
Alright. Okay, we're gonna root him in place. Alright, that worked out well. We got Magrin's Fury. Now, Magrin's Fury is another throwable. This one is the flammable version. So now you can change between the ice and the flame version of throwable. Here. Okay, there are some what look like enemies down here. They've been fighting the Xaurip, it looks like. And there's another somebody that we can encounter over there, but we're gonna hold off on that until after we've leveled up and gotten a quest, or what's up there on top. Okay, so for here, I think there's 3 enemies down here. Now these we're not over leveled for, so I'm not too worried about fighting them. I think there's one more, maybe hiding over there. There he is. Yep, he's back there. He keeps swinging. There we go. Oh, I dodged it. There's a crit. Oh, it was moving closer to me. There we go.
Just like the good old days.
So, typical RPG, if you can ranged attack from afar while your melee characters are moving in to fight up close, it's a good combination to have. Okay, we're not going to explore very far this way. But we are going to go look at a couple of things. This is a bonus threshold, and there's a wall, Pagram's Wall. We heard about Pagram's Wall in the dialogues beforehand, or right when we got off the boat. And then here you can see that there are more Xaurip up here. Okay, now I think there are 4 up here. Okay, all of these are facing away, so it'd be really nice.
How'd you do that?
Because I think there's actually a forager above us. Yep. And Kai took him out. Nice. Okay, so where are we on XP now? We're up to 305. So we're doing well. We're stacking up the XP here where we can. All while we're doing a little bit of exploration. If you look at our mini-map, you can see we're over here at the Fractured Shore, and we're kind of investigating all of these different islands that are out here. You can certainly jump over there. You will take a little bit of fall damage. Here we have another Paradisum ladder. So again, another inventory for an upgrade material that we're going to need for our weapons and armor. Don't think that there's anything else up here. There's not. Okay, so let's head back down to the left. We don't want to go west very far. We're going to head back north towards the wall. Now the graveyard.
Bad luck to hang around a
Oh,
graveyard.
and if you didn't
we should
see it in
move
the
on.
tutorial, while you're sprinting, if you crouch, you're going to slide. So if you're trying to get underneath an obstacle while you're running away, don't crouch, just sprint and then crouch. Okay, now Barras Gateway here, we're going to learn a couple of things. Actually, I want to go up before I do that. So actually we do want to go back this way. Because we can make our way up on top of all of this. Okay, so this is the world border, because up there is where we want to get to, but I think that's where you come out.
Yes, they'll never stop me. Wonder what he thought would happen.
Okay, so somebody was doing some experiment with explosives here. Didn't turn out too well for him. And you get a Nexley's Grimoire. Now this is your first unique Grimoire. So this has a minus 28% ability cost and a minus 15% cooldown, which are really nice for your Grimoires. It comes with Fan of Flames and Arcane Veil, which we've seen before. However, once you level this up, you're going to get Grimoire Snap, which is basically an AoE explosive stun around you, and Missile Salvo at level 10. And this is a big volley of magic missiles that comes out of you and strikes a target. So it is a really good Grimoire. And then here we have the Pyromancer's Key. We also have our first grenade, which we're going to use later. And the Char Journal, where you learn that he was trying to experiment with gunpowder and it didn't work out well for him. Now, I don't think this is the way. Well, maybe it is. I don't think it is. Don't think so. I don't think I can get up any farther than this. Here. Yeah, because it's over there. So I don't think I can get to that right now. I'll have to remember it later. But here you can kind of see what we're going to be going up against. So there's one soldier there, another one there, and it looks like a ranged enemy over there. There's a big chest down there for us. Okay, so we can go in here. We are going to have some enemies that we're going to have to fight, though. Maybe if we approach from there and go around the backside, we can get a sneak attack on him and get rid of him before we have to deal with them. And you also saw that that's the Pyromancer's camp down there. So there might be some good things in that chest. Whoops. Oh boy. I missed, for some reason, my pinky finger missed the jump button there. So we'll see how much. Again, it's only 5 minutes. I kind of took that for granted. Normally in my personal playthroughs, I'm more safe than that, and I save before I make jumps like that. Okay, so this is all we are, so we didn't lose hardly anything. So that was a fortuitous autosave that we got there. Normally I would do a quick save. On mouse and keyboard, the quick save buttons are F5 and F8, so you can just hit F5 and it'll do a quick save. Before you make any of the jumps like that. Okay, so let's see. I forgot the Xaurip down here. We can take care of them first, because these fairly straightforward. We can hide and get really close.
Even Pargrunan walls can't stand against this place. How'd you do that?
Then go back into hiding and do it again. There's one up there that's sleeping. And then the others are inside that walled off area. So we can go make a sneak attack against this one. And these others are on the other side of the wall.
We make a good squad.
So as long as you're careful, you don't shoot the barrel. Fine. Okay, so there's another Maglin's
Mogwin's
Fury.
Keep it away from gunpowder, or you'll be as bald as me.
There's a whole nother group up there. There's another way to fight them from up on top of the wall, though. And there is a lootable body on the other side of this wall here. Oh no, it's right here. Go down here and get this one. Then we'll go up here and see if we can sneak up on these guards. Yeah, see, he's right there. I think we can get here around the corner. Yeah, there are the other guards here. Well, let's see if we can sneak around this way and avoid them. Looks like we can.
We've got trouble. Uninvited company.
Is that so?
Graverobbers. Reincarnating as rats would be a step up.
Okay, so he ran away. They are Graverobbers, though, so they're going to be enemy. They are going to be enemies. So if we get too close to their treasure stash, they are going to activate. So we'll head back around. Other grenades, very useful. That's the Pyromancer's chest with the key. And there's a common grimoire of embers. 4 more grenades, which is very nice. The common grimoire of embers has fan of flames and now fireball. And I took my bow off there. Fireball and ring of fire as you level it up. So the elements has 1 of each. This is all level 1 stuff. Here. The embers is flame based, but it has all the high level, mid and high level spells as well. Yeah, see, they're now alert this way. I would prefer not to talk to them, but I've never talked to them before. So I don't know what's going to happen. If I go talk to them. That's kind of an interesting question. Because I've just fought them before. Let's save here. Just in case. Because this might be a boss enemy, I can't remember. You can't go over here and loot the chest, though. Because normally when there's a sarcophagus, you've got a boss enemy beforehand. That unlocks great swords. Great swords are very much like your great hammers, except they swing a little bit quicker. I would really not like to approach them from this way. I'm not going to try and go talk to them. I'm going to go around the back. because he's not showing as an enemy yet, but I know I've had them turn hostile toward me when I've gotten too close to their treasure. So let's just start this off and see. Yeah, so you can't do anything from them at range. I do remember that part. They have to go hostile on you before you can start attacking them.
It's not what it looks like. Well, maybe it is.
There a problem? Take it up with the boss.
Well, I'll be damned. You lads see this? A blasted godlike in the flesh.
That's no godlike. There aren't any godlikes around anymore.
Seriously, Tiny? Do you not see that face? Use your fucking eyes for once.
I still don't like it when you call me that.
Tiny's got a point, though. Thought your kind had vanished. Though, I don't recognize whose godlike you are, with whatever that is on your face. Now, is there a reason you're here, besides being a pain in my ass and holding up our job?
Okay, so here's your fight here.
I should have listened to Ma. I swear, I never wanted to be a looter. The man's gotta eat.
You fucking coward. I should have expected this from you.
Let me go, and I'll never disturb a gravesite again. I swear to all the gods.
You little shit!
All right, thank you. Ma would thank you too.
You know this was your last chance, Tiny. If I ever see you again.
You got... Nice shot!
Nice, 2 back-to-back crits. So basically it just makes the fight easier if you talk to them. So, that's nice. Okay, yeah, I had never talked to him before. So now I know what that does. And there's a turquoise. We already have a common axe. Okay, and I think there's... I think we can climb up here. Okay, I'm pretty sure you can. Oh, maybe it's this side. Yep, this side. Because here's how you get the hunt's hair up here. And I think that's it. So now let's go deal with some of these Xaurip over here. Actually, we'll get in position to deal with them, but we won't. We are out of time for today. So we'll go get in position for what we're going to encounter, and that's for getting up here.
Everything out here's been getting more aggressive. Militia's trying to hold the wilds out however they can.
Okay, so up here on top of this one, we now have shots at the Elder over there. And that is where we are going to pick up next week's live stream. So that gives you a good introduction to how the game is played. It's a very similar gameplay style to something like Skyrim. It has a very similar leveling process and perk process to, as Patrick said earlier in the stream, something like Enshrouded, where you're not locked into a particular class. It also allows you to utilize fighting, ranged, and/or magic at various points throughout your quests as you go through it. So the progression going forward is I'm going to keep focusing on the ranged combat with some high-powered melee combat on the sneak attack side as we go forward with this for the type of gameplay that we've signed up for here, which is why I titled the live stream as the Ranger gameplay. So hopefully that gives you an idea about how the game is played and how it starts out. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment on the video and I'll respond. For those of you who are new to my live streams, I will never ask for... Oh, and hey, Philip. Good to see you here. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the one that's out. It's interesting to me. This one is a little more interesting to me because it's of an IP that I haven't played before. So I'm interested to focus here on this one instead, and honestly, you know me, you've been around my streams for a long time. I don't have enough time to do 4 live streams. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is something that I'm looking at and will be on the list once we end both of the other live streams. Once we end either the Baldur's Gate 3 or the Veilguard, Dragon Age Veilguard stream, this one will move into its spot, and then we'll have an open spot. And maybe that will be something that y'all vote on that you want to see me play. But yeah, certainly something that I'm interested in, just not as much interest for me as this one. So that's why I'm showcasing this. But yeah, good question. So yeah, for especially when I have, you know, a 40 to 50 hour a week job, that yeah, I can't pull off 4 live streams in a week. I'm not a professional gamer. So but for those of you, unlike Philip's heard this before. For those of you who are new to my channel and new to the streams, I don't do this to make any money. I'm never going to ask you for a subscription. I'm never going to ask you for a like. That's not why I do this. I do thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for every one of those that I receive from all of you. but it's not something that I want to do. I have recently turned on donations and that sort of stuff. Again, I will never ask for that, but I've had members of my stream that have asked me to turn it on. Before you do that, please go read the description on the live streams and all the videos, so that you know what that entails. Streamers do not get everything that you choose to donate, and that is a bit of a problem for me, but I understand that some people are okay with it. And if they want to do that and they're fully aware of how that donation process works, then again, I will thank you from the bottom of my heart, but it's not something that I do, or not something that I'm ever going to ask for. So if you're new to the stream, please do read the description before you consider any of that sort of stuff, because as always, I value my community more than I value anything else here that goes along with being on YouTube. Because as people like Philip know, and Ostermura and Dave, who have been here before for a long time, my community is the source of my support, and as I always say, without that support, none of this would be possible. So this is Commander Jerval saying, until next time, fare thee well.